The key to unlock a successful year is to start writing contracts in plain English.
Hi everyone, welcome to Inside Stellar. By now you know that at Stellar we offer perfect internet to moving vehicles and for ubiquitous devices by combining all cellular, Wi-Fi and satellite networks into one single unbreakable connectivity. And with this podcast we want to bring you behind the scenes to take a look at how we close deals, perfect our technology, run our operations, and pretty much anything and everything in between. My name is Dursun. I'm joined by Natalia, Simone. Welcome to the new episode. In the spirit of New Year, we decided that this episode we want to dedicate to wrapping up 2025 and see what were our key takeaways, how did we do in terms of our commercial targets, and anything and everything that had to do about making 2025 an amazing year for Stellar.
So 2025 was a really big year for Stellar. I mean, every single year before 2025 was also really significant in our growth, but it was the first year that from the first day of the year until the last day of the year, we were already selling our solutions. And we started the year with some quite big goals. Am I right?
Yeah, super ambitious goals. Um, some may say too ambitious, but we liked those challenges. Let's give directly a spoiler to the listeners. We went more than 2.5 times above what was the target that we had for the end of 2025. So that's very good. We brought in several tens of contracts that we're very proud of. Um, it took quite a lot of work, not just on sales, but also on operations, on technology, and also on the strategic from the strategic viewpoint. But I think we can safely say that it was like it has been a great year. And I really look forward to the next one, which is this one now when this episode comes out, 2026, because once you do something really well, it's very difficult to do it again very well.
So we look at what actually allowed us to overachieve our target in 2025 and see maybe what are some of the lessons we could potentially take with us to the new year, to 2026, where our target is even more ambitious, right? So, what has worked for us in 2025?
Do you want to start?
Mm. I could start. I I think what would be a good place to start is, I was thinking in terms of what were enablers in terms of reaching the commercial target. And if I had to, I would actually kind of put them in three categories, if you will. Outstanding customer experience, another one being outbound sales, and the third, excuse my French, badass solution that we offer to clients, right? And maybe
For
we
sure.
can kind of take turns and look into each of these aspects. I want to start maybe emphasizing one thing that I have learned over and over again in my sales career. Sales is a team sport, right? Oftentimes when we think about a salesperson, we imagine a man or woman, right, working on their own, but actually in reality, it's rarely the case. And I think what enables me to be an amazing salesperson is my team, right? And I want to maybe start from there actually. How do we provide an amazing customer experience to our customers as a team, right? And why do customers then choose to stay with us and grow with us? I will start with maybe one kind of uh, my personal take on this is customer care. This is something that I hear over and over from the customers that we've been working with for over a year or two now, is the fact that, from day one, kind of when we have our first interaction with a customer to, I don't know, day 20 when when they're onboarded, they are super happy with their experience because everything goes smooth and fast which I want to emphasize, right? Because customer care is so important. That's when clients actually decide if they made a good choice of joining you, and if they want to stay with you, right? And that's, I think, an amazing to hear from customers, that it's not just me as a salesperson providing a great service when they are brought to sign the contract, but also our operations team. I mean, it's unbelievable at the speed they manage orders, right? Recently signed a deal where the company representative was traveling to Singapore and they needed, cars to be delivered in like 2 days or so, right? Our operations team handled it perfectly, and that customer is obviously super happy. So yeah, super great customer experience, especially also looking from the operational side of things, how our operations team handle new orders and make sure cards are delivered on time so clients can start using our amazing connectivity.
Yeah, and if I can add something to that, because I think those kind of experiences that the customers have, you can really see in specific moments. So from my perspective, I don't take such a direct role in the sales part at Stellar. I'm more from the marketing side. So I'm often at events where there's either new potential customers, or often we also find the customers that we're already working with at these events. And it happened multiple times where people will approach me like, "Oh, you're from Stellar. Is Simone here? Is Dursun here?" Because they have such a nice experience with the process of working with Stellar. So the customer care is, yeah, part of the business, but it's also just the human relationships that we're able to develop with these representatives of these companies that we work with. So it's something that I hear a lot, which is it's really great to see.
Yeah, and if we actually want to stay on the events, remaining in the three clusters that Dursun is mentioning, one thing that really contributed to the success is that we were attending a lot of events. We were really attending a lot. We were attending a lot, but we're going to be attending 50% more events in 2026. So there is no limit to the a lot, apparently. And most of the events proved to be very, very successful, either in contract signature very rapidly. We have had an episode dedicated on this, but basically, just to remind everyone, we give ourselves a time period of 3 months to assess the quality of an event. So we justify every euro that we spend for an event, either as attendees or so exhibitors or visitors, for everything that we can earn contractualized within a 3 month time frame following the event. And so either events are very successful in that sense, or they're very successful for what Nati was saying. So that the main customers, their current customers, recognize us, they go out with us, they actually see that they want to confide and sort of like discuss with us their future plans, which go generally far beyond the initial contract that we had signed. So I think that this was a main contributor for the success of 2025. I seriously hope that increasing by 50% in 2026 will have a similar further increase in performance and results for the 2026 KPIs.
Amazing. Maybe to stay now on the topic of our initiatives under the big umbrella of outbound sales, right? Another aspect I think that's very, very important and our customers really appreciate it are the partnerships, right? We help our customers to sell their products, right? And I think it doesn't happen enough in the industry that someone you are buying from equally interested in helping you grow, reach new heights in terms of your business. And a lot of our customers really appreciate also Stellar Constellation of Partners, we call it, right? Where we try, yeah, number one, help our customers sell their products, but also number two, connect customers among each other wherever we see that there is synergy, that they could learn and grow and partner with each other. So I think that's also another kind of activity I think that we did really well in 2025, that made sure customers are happy and they want to stay because they benefit. Not they don't just get connectivity from us, they get the network, they get the support and possibility to grow their business as well.
And by the way, Dursun and Nati, the reason why you were waiting a moment for me to join this recording session is exactly because I was in a call with a current customer and another current customer that have each other's mutual need, basically. And so this was a call organized just to make sure that they get to know each other and they get the best treatment when interacting with each other. It's not a deal that results in a greater commercial success for Stellar, but it's a deal that hopefully will result in a great commercial success for our customers, which ultimately is the final goal.
And maybe, Nati, do you want to also share what were some of our maybe marketing efforts that you think we did so well that has contributed toward achieving our goals?
Yes, so exactly like Simone already mentioned, we attended a lot of industry events and we also learned a lot through that process. There's a whole episode about events, our approach, the learnings that we had in 2025. So the link to that will be in the notes of this episode. But that was definitely something that had a big impact because seeing the people in person at these events, I'm sure had a big difference than just having cold outreach or anything like that. And I'm sure Dursun, you or Simone or the rest of our commercial team could say that, yeah, it's the case. When you see someone, there's a lot more that you can put across rather than just
Yeah.
in a message online. But also, some other activities that we had is a lot of the content that we were putting online on our website specifically. So the use cases that we were able to share, our success stories with our customers. So there's companies like Flowy, Wisp, WinIT, and others that we mentioned on our website. And because we were able to show these real concrete success stories, it also shows other people, other potential customers, what their solution could do as well, or how they could level up what they're offering to their customers. And Dursun, I don't know if you have any stories where customers also had these ideas in their mind and approached Stellar or heard about Stellar and then had that in the back of their mind, what they saw on the website, which yeah, sparked some more interest.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's one example that comes to my mind, for example. It's actually a company based in Luxembourg where all three of us are based. And it was amazing because Nati, you and I met a representative of this company at one of the events. And it was interesting because when this person put me in touch with the person in charge for connectivity, when I reached out, the person was like, "Oh, amazing! I've just finished reading your press release on this specific use case, which is very, very relevant, and we're interested. Yes, let's have a conversation." And then Simone and myself, we went to their office. We had a meeting. They work in kind of emergency response, and for them, communication connectivity is a critical. So we had a very fruitful conversation, and kind of this highlights the importance of trying different kind of efforts, right? Different activities. And it's amazing to see how different efforts kind of join together to increase our likelihood of actually having that important conversation with the potential customer.
And to add to that, in terms of our visibility, we were, of course, very active on LinkedIn, posting a lot from the events that we're attending, any kind of news from Stellar from the tech side. And also, our team has grown a lot this year. But also, actually, this podcast that we're recording right now is one of our kind of ways to get more visibility and also to share how we make decisions to attract the kind of customers that would like to work with us and our way of thinking, our way of working. And exactly like you were talking prior about the constellation of partners that we have at Stellar and things like that. If it's something that interests specific people, that's how we also want to bring them in by showing how we make decisions, how we do things here at Stellar. So that's another thing that we do.
And maybe one thing that we absolutely don't have to forget is that it almost doesn't matter how good we can do sales or commercial outreach or business development or marketing. Uh, Everything halts if technology doesn't work, right? So we need to give credit where credit is due. Effectively, in 2025, we've been putting on the market everything that is related to software that has basically the ability, as Dursun you were saying in the intro, to sort of like orchestrate every cellular Wi-Fi and satellite network into a single unbreakable solution. But the beauty of that is that we have a sovereign European solution. We're capable of bundling together not just satellite connectivity, but satellite connectivity from 18 satellite partners, which allows us to pick every country in the world, every use case in the world, and literally bundle together the solutions that we need. Because of the scale of our operations already, we're offering to our customers a pricing that is otherwise impossible to match. When we go to customers or prospects, a very important piece of the conversation is that we do not ask for minimum quantities, right? For minimum commitments. We go to the customer and we say, hey, it doesn't matter how many you need. Just tell me what you need right now. Doesn't matter what are the future promises. We're just going to get you the best solution that exists, whether you have one device or 1 million devices. Um, and maybe one thing that is super important is, again, we spoke about the support on the operation side, but the quality of the support is really only possible when the responsiveness of the support is also matching its quality. So we do have a tech team which is very strong, but what I see as the main strength is the speed. It's not just putting out something that is great. It's putting something that is great fast, and somehow we're still managing to be extremely proficient in that. I'm certainly hoping, and I'm seeing that we will have no challenges in doing that for the years to come. But I would really wish for this for Stellar to be able to make sure that we continue being as fast when dealing with customers. The customer that has been waiting the most from an input from us today is 3 days. And it's in fact it's on me, by the way. I need to respond to this customer, but I'm waiting for an input and I'll be responding right after this recording. But 3 days is zero when some customers are coming. Dursun, you just brought the customer that we met at CES in Vegas, and while they signed with us, they tested with us, and they're deploying with us, they're still having 8 open tickets with their previous supplier. Their previous supplier doesn't even know that the customer moved to us. So this is amazing, and I think we should absolutely make sure that it remains part of our DNA.
Yeah, I wanted to emphasize that, especially given that we are growing at a very fast pace, right? Bringing on so many amazing use cases that have different needs in some aspect, right? How do we make sure as we grow, our partners, our customers, how do we make sure that we can maintain that level of like amazing, fast customer experience, customer support, both from operations and tech side? I think this can be something that we take to this year, 2026, as one of our priorities, that we make sure, yes, we grow commercially, but we also make sure that the support, kind of the quality of the support will not change as we grow.
I think, Dursun, you started mentioning a lot about the first point that you made, which is the customer experience that we deliver. And I think we mentioned a couple of ways and we went a little bit in depth into those, but there's still a few more that we actually talked about earlier that maybe we could bring back this conversation to the first point again and talk about things like giving recommendations on the invoices that we send out to the customers. So whenever we see that something is maybe being used more than is optimal, let's say, we give advice on how to make it to optimize it. I'm repeating myself, but you know what I mean.
No, but you're
So
repeating yourself for an important reason, Nadi. I mean, this is one of the things I'm the most proud of when interacting with sending the invoicing out to the customer, because I have never seen it before. A customer explains to us their business case or their use case, their need. We understand that use case, and if we see that the invoicing for a specific month, it becomes a either too high or too low, or in any case, different from what we're expecting for that use case to be, we not only invoice the customer, obviously, but we also have an entire section of the invoice in which we leave recommendations. We recommend getting in touch to your Stellar point of contact in order to change your tariff plan from this to this to avoid any overusage. There is really an idea of going far beyond what is the typical sort of like supplier customer relationship, and it's more like, okay, let me understand what you're really trying to do, because we can help you stay on the right track while you do that. It's one of the things that really I'm the most proud of when discussing the invoices, because typically, when sending invoices out, some customers would respond, oh, this invoice is wrong for whatever reason. With Stellar, this doesn't happen. The customer comes back to us to say, oh, thank you, I agree, we should absolutely do this. Let's set the meeting. And the fact that the invoice is a trigger for that, it's beautiful.
Right. And it's something that is quite fun, I would say, from the side of Stellar, because we are the experts in what we're providing to our customers. So we are able to give that advice where the customers may not even have the time to think about this kind of optimization or just not sure how to approach it from their side. So why not?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
sometimes they come, especially, also thinking in terms of when we have initial conversations with prospects, right? Sometimes they come saying, oh, I want this extra things. And we're the first ones to say that is an overkill for your specific use case, right? So I think also kind of helping our customers to understand what is needed in order for them to achieve whatever the goal they are trying to achieve, and optimizing their costs, right? Because at the end of the day, we're not just trying to sell. Our goal is also help our clients grow with us, along with us, and feel proud that they're part of Stellar Constellation of Partners.
Yeah, and I guess that maybe this is another difference in attitude, as you said. Like, often we have customers that come to us. We're never, or we're rarely the first company that they speak to, right? Generally, they have some background, and so they come to us after having been fully indoctrinated by others into them needing something else. And again, I can make you an example of a company that is managing a solar farm in Sicily, in Italy. And they reached out, we had a conversation, and their point was like, oh, I need satellite, I need a smart router, I need multiple SIM cards to connect this location. And my response was like, maybe, but actually just try this SIM card into your current Wi-Fi router, and tell me if it works. And it turns out that it works perfectly. It's just that the reason why they couldn't go with a solution for another supplier is because that supplier solution didn't work. And so the supplier managed to convince the customer that they needed more and more and more, but no, they just needed good. And so this is actually very nice. It's horrible, makes me a horrible salesperson, because I end up leaving a lot of cash on the table. But at the same time, I mean, if that's the solution you need, there's no point to get 50 cars if you just need to drive one, right?
Right. So it's like
Exactly.
simplifying when things don't need to be overcomplicated. So it also makes me think of
Mhm.
another point of Simone. You said that some customers come to us to say, thank you for the contract, which is written in English and not legalese. So that's
Yeah, it
also
is crazy.
something which is actually just simplifying something that could be made simple that others maybe don't think of.
English, which is crazy for me. Like
Yeah.
the fact that we get so many praises because our contracts are written in conversational English is it's scary. Like, I don't understand. And actually, I do understand, because the contract that we sign with some of our suppliers or with other companies, they really require four lawyers to understand them. And then there are so many traps written in there. For us, it's just plain English. It could be a WhatsApp exchange, our contracts. And I mean, let's keep it like that.
Indeed. On the topic of kind of simplifying things and avoiding unnecessary complexity, I think another thing that we kind of simplified, along with the contract, right? Also the testing process. So we try to kind of minimize unnecessary complications by just having one contract that starts with a test phase if customers want to do the test, and then it just, if it's, if the test is successful, which is, there's no reason why it wouldn't be. We have full confidence in our product, right? The moment the test is successful, the contract turns into like an actual contract, and they can start already kind of benefiting. They don't have to wait for another, I don't know, number of weeks for us to send a new contract and then agree on the terms and so on. So I think that's also kind of makes the process easy and fast, especially for customers who have very strict kind of schedule and they need things to move fast for their use cases.
Yeah.
Anything else that we have done so well in 2025 that we should definitely try to repeat in 2026? Amazing prices. Shall we keep our amazing prices? Priority access on our network.
Who knows
I
if we
think
should
these are,
actually.
yeah, talking about leaving money on the table, right? Yeah, I think this is
Yeah.
the other thing that, of course, for a lot of companies, cost cutting makes a lot of sense, right? Especially for those who are maybe either just starting or who have millions of devices in the market. So for them, um, the price is a strong differentiating factor. So, and maybe one other thing that we kind of touched upon the tech aspect, right? That our technology is sovereign, which is I personally see more and more companies looking at it like they want kind of solutions products made in Europe because of also kind of geopolitical reasons that we are experiencing currently. But also, our technology is actually very easy to use. I think this was one of the feedback that we recently received, right, from a client company in France, where they came to our Bordeaux team. Our tech team kind of did like an onboarding and showcasing our software, and they were amazed how easy it is to use. So I think that's also maybe an equally important aspect of our technology, that it's a no-brainer for a lot of our customers.
And I think the right let's say symptom of that is the fact that we don't even have on or off buttons on our devices, right? So I think the whole point is to design it so that we handle your connectivity, you don't have to. We also have customers that say, oh, we would like to have a greater sort of like hands-on experience. But actually, the reason why you come to Stellar is because we can handle everything for you, right? And so I was mentioning the 18 satellite partners, more than 550 cellular network access, multiple versions of hardware devices so that everything can be put together. A software that can be ported on various devices, from planes to trains to EV chargers. So this is, I think there is a tremendous value in us being the central glue from, I mean, in between cellular, Wi-Fi, and satellite. Also, because one thing that is very important, and at least this was my big learning very early on in 2025, and I sort of like tried to pass it on to as many customers as I could, is that every time that a customer comes with an issue, that issue typically applies to 1% of their fleet, not to all of their fleet. And so while in their mind they're actually super scared when they start talking to you or to us, it takes actually very little effort to show them, hey, you know what, this that you think it's a macroscopic screw up on your side, it's actually just affecting 8 of your devices or 100 of your devices out of your 45,000 units. So for all of those 44,900, this is the solution. Here it is, super easy. It's only for the remaining 100 when we need to go a bit overboard and do something that it's a bit more, let's say, complex but not complicated, in the sense that it's still completely seamless for the customer, but it requires us to patch more than a couple of things together to give the solution.
And there's something that you said, Dursun, that kind of made my marketing side of the brain like ding, 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 which is we've been listening a lot to our customers, and we now can identify very specific groups of customers, and they all have very specific needs. So over the year, throughout the full year, our tech team has also been working really hard to make sure that our solutions also cater to these very specific needs of these certain specific groups of customers that we have. So I think on the marketing brain side of like we're learning with the customers and hearing them and then developing the products based on what we hear and not only what we believe will be the best way to move forward with our tech.
And in 2026, we're going to be actually getting a greater sales force, a much larger tech part of the team, so between tech, between development and operations, which is gonna greatly sort of like support what is our ambitions. We need to go to a much greater scale than what we had in 2025. And even though 2025 was 2.5 times more than the target, we're realistically gonna need to do 3x what we did in 2025 and 2026. So for this will certainly mean more events, but it will also mean a constantly evolving better technology and a growth of the team on the sales side and on the tech side. I think it's going to be a super challenging year, but a super stimulating year because effectively is the moment when we go from initial growth, certain clear proof of the customer needs, clear proof of the mass market of the customer understanding, down to a path of very, very, very rapid scale, which is going to be effectively the whole 2026, but also the whole 2027 and 2028, where I think we're going to be challenged quite a lot. I really look forward to that moment in which we get challenged quite a lot. For now, we're still within the realm of us being able to issue contracts within 1 hour. I will be very happy when we need to sign 12 contracts a day so that we have troubles in issuing them in 1 hour and they need to wait 1 hour and a half. So this is going to be a very challenging phase, I think, the 2026, 2027, 2028.
So we maybe briefly share
Sorry.
what excites us about 2026. Now we have kind of done the wrap up of 2025, what we've managed to accomplish, and what has helped us to accomplish those goals. So when we look ahead to 2026, which we already started, what is maybe one thing that you are looking forward to and excited about?
Something
And as
I'm
usual, you
super
ask the question. Hold on, let her do the. You're asking the question. Give us the angle.
Okay, so for me, I'm the most excited about supporting the customers that we brought in 2025 because it was just the beginning. They got kind of the taste of what Stellar can offer, can provide. And, it takes time for kind of our clients to scale up. So I'm excited about that to see, what's ahead for them in terms of what we can do for them and supporting their growth.
What I'm super excited about is all the events that we'll be exhibiting at because personally for me, I love it. When we have a booth, people come to us and we get to talk about Stellar and all the things that we're working on. It really gives me a lot of energy, so super excited. I know there's a lot of events, but not all of them will be exhibiting at because of what we explained in the episode about events, episode number 2. And yeah, I think it's gonna be great.
What I am super excited about is the fact that today we're serving roughly 80 use cases. I'm looking forward to use case 81 because it has happened that almost, I mean, more than half of the use cases that we're today serving, we had not thought about them. And the customer has, of course, it's their business, and they just needed our solution to make it happen. So because we're roughly at 80 today, use case 81, 82, 83, 84, which are use cases I absolutely cannot think of, are super interesting, super exciting. To a certain extent, I have a bias in the sense that I like signing with a customer that does something that no other customer does, rather than signing with the 14th customer that does the same thing as the other 13. So both are absolutely welcome, but I have a heartfelt preference for someone that makes me discover something that I didn't know before.
It's very fair. And we've heard about a lot of very different use cases, so I'm sure there's plenty, plenty more out there.
Absolutely.
So I think this was quite a comprehensive wrap up of 2025. Dursun, you said it really nicely, the 3 pillars of what made us, what supported us in reaching our very ambitious goals for 2025 in terms of sales. And now we're in the beginning of 2026, so there's a lot of exciting things coming up. We have a lot of things we learned from the previous year that we will be working on maintaining, exactly like you said, Simone, with the 1 hour response time whenever we can. Thank you everyone for listening, and the next episode will be out in 2 weeks. Thank
See you,
you.
everyone. Bye bye.
Hey, everyone.